what's the appropriate way to handle perceived conflicts of interest?
Okay, so I guess I am a small business owner, so I'll give it from my perspective. There's two ways. So, the system sets up rules, ethical rules, state rules, and I think if you play between the rules, and listen, it's not popular, but I'll even make the argument for them. If you are an administrator in the school system, there is a state law that allows you to vote on the budget. If you don't like the rule, change the state law. It's not a local issue. But there's things that you can do, but you shouldn't do. So, if you're bidding something and you can, maybe you shouldn't. And then there's your black and white ethical rules that say, you can't vote on something if you have pecuniary interest, monetary gain, things like that. So, I think you, one, have to abide by the rules that exist, and two, the rules that you should consider and think if you should do something or not.
Even the mere propriety of a conflict of interest, you should recognize that immediately and recuse yourself from any vote. It's happened to me. I own a small apartment building in downtown Southington, and there was lots of construction in the area, and there was an application that was far away, and I didn't have to recuse myself, but I did, because I don't want anyone to think that there's a conflict of interest, and that's what we need to be cognizant of. You want to stay away from those issues. You don't want to be pegged as someone that's voting for something that could benefit you, especially financially.
Yeah, and I think everybody who's at the council and a lot of the boards tries to be cognizant of that. A lot of times we seek the guidance of our town's attorney to give us some guidance so that we can know when to recuse ourselves. There's recently been some information about open space. One of the things we can do is have very transparent and ensure that the right people are involved and the right people aren't involved. We had a situation with the open space where, I stepped back and allowed town staff to follow the protocol and negotiate, and I think by doing transparent things like that is beneficial. We even had a compliment from Representative Poulos when he was a councilman at the time that he did everything right in that transaction, and it was on the up and up, so we have to continue those type of things.
Democrat side, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My apologies for being late. I had a work commitment earlier, so I'm glad to be here with you now. The biggest, strongest way we can do this is looking at our ethics ordinance, and I proudly supported a change in our ethics ordinance about 6 years ago. And looking in the ordinance itself, it's really clear and delineates any perceived or actual conflict of interest. The other thing that came as a result of that change is all elected officials, not just council members. There is a financial disclosure statement, as well as naming any LLCs, any property you own, and I think that's important to disclose to residents. That is available in the town clerk's office. We also all take an oath of office at the beginning of our term, where we promise to be open, honest, and transparent. I think it's critical for us to do that. If you do have a conflict, stating what that conflict is, and making sure the public is aware of why, what the perceived or real conflict is for you.
All right, the next